Hello, Liana Baitasha here, beginning the arc, starting from where I am. And I have been stuck all day long. And it all starts at the beginning of the day when I wake up with a desire to cuddle with someone, skin to skin, and just cuddle. I love cuddling. And there's no one in my bed. And there's no one I can call. Emergency cuddling session. So I go very quickly from, a need not being met, a chronic need not being met, or chronic desire not being met, whatever, to like disappointment, depression. And then, yeah, like I go to a pretty dark place, hopeless place that everything's pointless. And so I just took a shower basically to touch deprivation is a real thing, and I definitely have it. And maybe it was my mom cuddling me too much, or but my family is very touchy-feely and cuddly, and I love that about them. And yet I feel kind of like set up for disappointment in a way in this world. And I also have it's appropriate to cuddle with a partner, but not appropriate to cuddle, skin to skin, spooning with like a friend or a family member at this point in my life. So I have these like kind of rigidity about like what's acceptable, what's not, what's appropriate, what's not. And so it kind of sets me up for not getting my need met, this really strong desire. And so that's where I've been stuck at all day. And I'm also stuck in this cycle of perfectionism as well, and feeling like I'm not good enough. And what does it matter? What does it matter if I share this on my YouTube channel? And so I would love for anybody who's watching this to comment, subscribe, like, I don't know. I have a weird dynamic where the only way that I could start sharing on my YouTube channel was by not sharing it with anybody. Because then there was no expectation of receiving any feedback or and so I keep forgetting that like, oh, just because I share my YouTube channel or I put myself out there doesn't automatically mean that I'll receive feedback. And so I was just kind of like embraced that fact when I first started my YouTube channel. I'm like, well, okay, I'm already worried that what I will put out there isn't perfect enough, and I know that it's not my best, and I know I can do better, and I want to do better, and yet this is where I am, complete amateur, just, and so I get stuck in this like, I must be perfect in order to share. And because I must be perfect in order to share, because otherwise I won't connect with people, or it will just like, it won't mean anything. It won't connect with somebody. It won't have any validity outside of myself. Like it won't matter, and so there's this drive to like be all of who I am all the time and share all of what I have to share and be this amazing human being that I know I am on the inside. but coming out into the world, it's all janky and it's, yeah, there's a lot of me holding back for, a really long time. And so I kind of have like this backlog of creativity of like, oh, that's not good enough. Oh, that's not good enough. Oh, that's not good enough. And just, yeah, I'm kind of stuck in that. Even though the Leonard Cohen song Anthem, there's a line in it that was brought to my attention by the meditation retreat people, forget your perfect offering. And so that line has been cycling through my head a lot. And and that is kind of like how I started, of just like starting where I am. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. I'm starting where I am, and I'm a depressed rainbow and an angry rainbow and all of these and a hopeless rainbow, and just all of these feels. Got lots of feels. And another thing that occurred to me as I was doing nothing the entire day, like absolutely nothing. I slept a lot. I have such severe depression that it's like catatonic depression. So like I literally just do nothing for vast amounts of time. And yeah, that was today. I just felt so stuck. And so that's what happens, is I go into a freeze state. And so as I was doing nothing and, or consuming social media and, eating here and there and taking care of my animals and, cuddling Draco, my Drake. I have ducks, and I'm taking care of my brother's chickens, little chicks, and saw the greenhouse, and that's about it. And here I am in this moment that I've finally decided to just get it over with. And maybe I'll feel better after this, maybe I won't. I don't know. But I'm already smiling, smile. Something that occurred to me as I was scrolling through Facebook, I was like, there's a common theme these days of like kind of stepping back from this mentality that we have to constantly doing something in order to be successful or be feel good about ourselves. And so yeah, it's very capitalistic that you have to constantly like be pushing yourself and be busy and work and work and work. And so I really do appreciate this like rest and rejuvenate that is doing something, and take a break and all of this stuff. And so I saw this post, this like pretty long post, lots of words, and then a pretty picture, and it was talking about resting and doing nothing. And it occurred to me the irony of this person writing and posting that's actually doing something. And I often feel like my perspective isn't very common, or at least I think it's common, but it's not commonly spoken about, is the underachiever and the person who literally does nothing their entire life, like has vast stretches of time that they don't really do anything. And yeah, so basically the underachiever. And I feel like we hear a lot from the overachievers, from type A people, and not so much from the flip side. And like, so the overachievers, it is really good for them to rest and to let go and to surrender. And then for me, I feel like on the flip side, it's like I need to sometimes do the opposite of the overachievers because I'm an underachiever. So it's like for some context, I was raised by, my mom has been disabled since she was in her 20s, but she's kind of like the invisible disability a little bit, disability on lots of levels. And so that is some context that I guess is helpful. But so she was like always into us taking mental health days and, you know, not pushing ourselves, not even showing up to school. Like, so she kind of encouraged a little bit of laziness in my brother and me. So my rebellion was to actually show up for school and to to go to school was my rebellion. And I know that's very different from a lot of people. And so my mom was kind of like pushy on the opposite spectrum, and also unstable in a lot of levels. And so I feel like, given my experiences, it's just, and I'm sure other people have gone through things like this as well. And so I guess I'm just speaking up for the people who are underachievers that maybe need more structure or to push themselves. And one of my favorite songs for that is Britney Spears' Work Bitch. You gotta work, bitch. If you want the life that you want, you gotta work at it. And I feel like for type A people, it just kind of like comes naturally. And for everyone else, or the underachievers, it's hard. It's hard to find even motivation. So that just occurred to me, the irony of the person who's posting about doing nothing and resting is not actually doing nothing and resting, and then the person who is doing nothing and resting, it's actually like a defensive coping mechanism that is not serving me. And so I need to get to work. And redefining work is helpful as well. So for me, working is like really prioritizing my exercise, doing cardio, stretching and strengthening, dancing, yeah. But, you know, not having any energy, like I have severe energy, chronic fatigue, I guess is a way to put it. Severe chronic fatigue will really do that to you. Anyways, thanks for listening. If you're listening, let me know if you're listening. Till next time.